Hi, this is Variety CHENEVERT for AKASHI Media Podcast Live, giving you a commentary on a few topics. Well, the first one is, of course, I want to talk about R. Kelly, my childhood friend. Well, he's have been transferred from the Brooklyn Federal Prison to the Chicago Federal Prison for his upcoming trial in Chicago next month in August. And for a couple of days, he had been on suicide watch. And he wasn't going to commit suicide, he said, and I believe him because he's a very strong man. But I would tell you this, I had a dream about him in prison. And what I saw in this dream was that I saw Robert and I saw two Mexican guards that were standing next to him that looked like they were trying to put his head in something. I don't know if it was like a noose or if it was like a something, but that's what it looked like they were trying to do. He wrote the prison top guy or whatever and made a complaint about it, and his attorney also filed against the prison for having him in a suicide watch, because I guess that's their way of saying if they want to try to kill someone on the inside, they say they try to commit suicide based on his sentence because of, I guess, of who he is as a celebrity or whatever. And I guess they feel like that's just one way of coming up with an scapegoat. I guess what they say is supposed to go in their own way, in situations like that, He had said that he woke up and a man had started beating on him and stuff like that too, as well. I'm surprised he could even sleep in prison, but I guess he eventually gets some rest. And then Beyonce, she comes out with a song that says, "I'm not going to let you break my soul." And a lot of people, they out to try to do that to people. They got signs up in Hollywood that I saw going toward Alvarado that had a 213 telephone number, and they were talking about buying souls or something like that. It's weird. People are born with a soul. Everything has a soul when it's born. It's given, whether it's a human or a dog, a plant, whatever it may be. God gave that, and it's not something that someone can take away from you, because only the Father in heaven, who has the power can take both the soul and the body, is the only one that has that power. Not even Jesus has that power. Satan either. Might as well say that too, I just feel that Robert is definitely going through a trial and everything. But really, what's really interesting with the news is how, okay, Robert's in there for supposedly messing with kids and dealing with women. I guess he probably turned down and didn't want, or people basically have said they didn't have their careers going, and he promised him this and that, and there are people who actually ran up to him and from Foot Locker and said, hey, help me out with my career. And then it turns out he's supposed to have done something to them and so on and so forth. I've never known him to be a homosexual. I've known him since childhood. And I've never seen that spirit of homosexuality in him at all. You know, but I do know there was a person who did like Robert more than a friend as a man. And Robert wasn't trying to get down like that. And he did tell him that he wasn't going to get down like that. Like, nah, man, I'm not, trying to do that. And the guy seemed to have a problem with that rejection. So it's just amazing. And there's some women who have problems with rejection too. Because sometimes people just think they just that fine. That they're not supposed to be turned down or something. I don't know. But it just seems that way. But anyway, what's really interesting to me in the media is how Robert's getting 30 years for supposedly abusing women, but then the guy who killed Floyd, George Floyd, gets only 10 and is trying to get 2 who actually committed murder. Y'all jumping all over R. Kelly like he had murdered some damn body, but you're not doing that for that guy who killed George Floyd, though. Because that time is just not good enough. He deserved life in prison without parole to me. Killing that man like that on video. You guys want to talk about videos? Look at that video. He don't deserve to get out. He deserved to get his ass beat up in prison. He don't need to be, given no special treatment. That man had kids. He had a family. He had a daughter. So, I guess the family was also compensated for their loss. And then Biden, he wrote in some type of new act for police officers and gave George Floyd's daughter the pen that he signed a new declaration for. I got to read up on it, on what it actually is supposed to be. But I saw it on the news, Biden doesn't look like he's doing too well. He doesn't look like he's going to I don't know, stay too healthy. Because I saw him on the news and he looked extremely weak. And he has COVID and he's outside in the air. You have COVID, you're supposed to be, quarantining or something. And he's out in the open in the air trying to meet people and stuff and have meetings. And that's supposed to be contagious. I mean, I wouldn't want to have a meeting with him. If it's supposed to be a deadly disease like that. And then he didn't even have a mask on. He wasn't even wearing a mask. And have COVID, wasn't wearing a mask either. And out in the cold, I'm out in the open. He was walking out slow. He could barely walk up the stairs. You could tell he couldn't breathe by the way he was walking. He was walking like someone who had lung cancer. Because I had a neighbor who had lung cancer, and that's how he was. He couldn't walk. He could barely breathe. He could barely take 2, 3 steps and would have to stop. And his doctor told him that eventually his heart would just give out and that'll be it. I said, wow. I remember when I met this neighbor, though. His name is Pat. He's my neighbor in Las Vegas, Summerlin, Nevada. And I remember when he got diagnosed with cancer, lung cancer. He's an older guy. And he wanted to commit suicide, actually. And he said, I just want to die. I just want to drive my truck up to the mountains and just take myself out. And I told him, you might outlive that doctor. You just never know. But I told him, at this point right now, you seem pretty healthy to me. You know, it didn't seem like there's anything really wrong, you know. But try to enjoy the rest of your life doing something or with somebody, you know. So actually I became like his companion, neighbor, friend, in a way, where we used to go to Thanksgiving dinner together and grocery shopping together, you know, just hang out and talk with the other neighbors and stuff like that. I'm a type of person, I guess you can say in my own way, I bring light into people's lives, hope into people's lives, give people a will to want to live. I'm the kind of person that kind of cheers people up, make them not want to give up, but want to do better. They try to find a way for them to believe in themselves, to move forward. But even if they are diagnosed with an illness, I still always believe that God has the higher power and has the final call, you know, because we're here on earth, and God has always said that the earth is ours, and we're supposed to enjoy the earth. And, you know, a lot of people always say they believe in God and things like that, and then people turn around and talk about the devil and stuff like the devil is like the worst thing ever. But I always go back to this whole fact that the devil always originated from heaven first. It was Jesus who spent 40 days in hell. But Satan himself, the devil, Lucifer, whatever name they want to use, originated from heaven first because he was God's greatest angel. He was the one who could sing. He was the one who had entertainment. He could sing songs, instruments, everything. He was an entertainer. And the Lord loves entertainment. And he was one of his favorites. And also his son as well. But he became selfish in a way. I guess that's how the story was supposed to be told. He did something. I don't know if he was trying to take over the Lord's house or what, and then he got kicked out, they say, and tossed into the earth with him and other angels. But then again, you just never know. You might have been really told a different story. He could have just been that God said it was time for him to leave the heavens and go onto the earth. Because what God had told him is that he gave him the earth as a gift. He said, I'm giving you the earth as a gift. but I want you to continue to reproduce my seed, is what he said. And then you get the story that comes along about Mary having the Holy Spirit that impregnates her and have a son. Well, that could have easily been the devil as well that was tossed into the earth that became that Holy Spirit, because he's always been of the Spirit. He's never been of the flesh in the first place. And he's always been unseen. So even if that was really him that planted the seed in Mary that was supposed to have been a virgin, which I don't understand how she could if she was already married to Joseph and had children. She was already touched. So that made her tainted anyway. So even with planting that seed, we all a part of that seed, no matter what. Because if he really thought that he was with someone that was a virgin or really wasn't, that's just something that happened. And maybe he really had the intent of being something of purity. And maybe he was lied to in the beginning by the woman. And didn't tell him that she was married and had children already with Joseph. That could have happened. So we all have bad and good or whatever. And that's basically it, you know. So I guess sin would begin there, with him coming from the heavens and then supposedly mating with this pure virgin that really might not have been a virgin, that already had children, married, or just had a celibate marriage, or maybe even a sexless marriage at that point. But there are a lot of people with sexless marriages. Who knows, you know? Who knows? But things can happen like that. That's just the way that I understand what was written. That's how I interpret it. You might not interpret it like that, but that's how I interpret it. You know. And then the woman, through the years, she gained some power. And she also gained that power because of who she was with and who she was involved with, which is the Son who emerged from heaven, who was the Father's only begotten Son, actually. So that means that he might have just had a bunch of daughters and had one son. But he was powerful, so of course his power went into this virgin and gave her power as well. And that's why she felt like she was a queen after that. Because maybe her husband didn't make her feel that way as well. Maybe Mary didn't really feel like she was any of those things. She was there to just be barefoot and pregnant with Joseph. She wasn't there to feel like a queen and feel like she was on top. But later on, she became acknowledged as being the mother of Jesus. And then that made her popular and made her somebody. And then she stood out after that. Because she really wasn't standing out being Joseph's wife with all these kids. She was more like just this person that had kids, you know. Um, so even if that did take place like that, and the devil really thought that he was with a virgin, that showed you in the beginning that he also made a mistake as well. Now, I don't know if this era and this time period was during the time period where the Lord decided that I must destroy this earth with water and clean it up because of what's going on in it. And then he restored the earth after trying to destroy it with water and clean it up with water. And then he said, next time, if anything happens again, it's supposed to be a brimstone. Well, water is good for you. So, if the Lord uses water to clean up something, even the earth, what do you think we need to be doing with our bodies? We need to be cleaning our bodies as well with water. Like that alkaline 9.5 water that I be telling you guys about all the time, because the alkaline is what removes things out of your body that's not supposed to be there. And it's a preventive cancer type of water, But a lot of people grew up on holy water. And that's supposed to heal you too, right? But what really heals you is your faith, your mindset, your beliefs that you can make it, you can strong, you can survive. It's all in the mind. People are really publicizing mental illness. I believe in mental healthiness. I was always taught to keep your mind right, and that everything is always in the mind in its own way. People say you are what you think. Anything can be used for the good and the bad, because people can think that they're just so all that they can just be conceited too, But you know what? Everyone may see something different when they look in the mirror. I like myself. I always thought I was cute when I looked in the mirror. And I've been told that I was ugly when I was little by different people. They used to say, "You ugly girl. You ugly little girl." But I'm a Sagittarius child. Sometimes I would say, "I'm not ugly." And then they would say, "Yes, you are ugly." And then I just learned after a while not to even say anything, because I didn't want to get into a quarrel of defending myself, knowing that I wasn't ugly, because it wasn't going to change my mind about myself to think that I was ugly, because I know that I wasn't, not in my eyes, because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, of course. And I behold that I'm beautiful. So that for me was just something that I didn't really fight on or anything, not even as a kid or as an adult, teenager, or anything, To each his own. What I would do is, if someone called me ugly, especially this particular person, I would just think to myself what I really felt about them and leave it alone. and just move forward. It didn't make me cry or anything like that. But I must admit that, as Florence Ballard's daughter, I'm Nicole Renee. I'm not Nicole Chapman that you all have seen on television with Mary Wilson and the three other women that was on television that was broken on welfare. That's not me. I'm Nicole Renee Ballard Desai Henson. Grant Henson Patel. I go there with that one. I made it longer now, honey. Because of my DNA ancestry. But it's all good. We have a lot of Nicoles in the family. There are a lot of Lisas in the family too. A couple of those too. A couple of Deborahs. A couple of Dianes. A couple of Maries. A couple of Michelles. A couple of Lisas. And a couple of Karens. So, couple Dianes, so we have quite a few people with the same name in the family. But I was born first. Of the supreme children. And I would say I wasn't raised with a twin, but I was acknowledged of having one. And she's famous and a celebrity. And we actually look just alike. But the only difference between the two of us is that she had surgery on her face. And we have been together. We used to be together when we were younger as kids. And there are times, mostly, we were also separated in different homes as well, too. But I understand the reason for that as well, because that was my mother's doing. That was Florence doing, because Mom, with Mom going into the hospital and stuff, Joseph would tell her that she should color code our clothes and stuff like that, so she can tell us apart. So Mom used to color code our clothing so she could tell us apart, And that was the reason why she had us at separate locations, because of what she was going through and everything. This is in my book, Rich and Famous, Famous and Broke. My mother, Florence Ballard. When the lights went down, they called her Penny. It's in my book, written by Variety CHENEVERT. Which is my stage name, Variety CHENEVERT. Yeah, so that's basically it. That's how that went down, basically, with Mom and everything. But yeah, my twin, we used to be together quite a bit, a whole lot, when we were younger. But We didn't grow up together as teenagers. We didn't see each other as teenagers anymore, or anything like that. But I grew up with her, seeing her, because my sister was in the media quite a bit, and I love what she was doing. I was one of her biggest fans as well, and I admired what she was doing and everything. But I could see through her as she was growing up, and I can see it in her eyes. I can see it in her face that she wasn't happy without me. She was happy with me, with her. By her side, she was happy when we slept in the same room together. She was happy to wake up next to me. She would sit at the foot of the bed with a mirror and hold it and say, "We're twins." And she always wanted me with her. She always wanted me to be with her in every step that she made. But that didn't continue in our lives. That was broken early in our lives as kids. So we didn't get a chance to grow up together and or anything like that. But it's funny though, because we both end up getting involved with the Barge Boys. That is so strange. We at the same age, in different places in our lives, we both got involved with the Barge Boys. She was with James and I ended up with Marcel. That is amazing. The only thing is that I got pregnant and had a baby. And I had the daughter in Grand Rapids. And everybody thought it was her having a baby. But that's funny. It's really weird. But anyway, it's interesting though, how life can turn out when adults are involved and they control everything that goes on in a child's life. It's really something. Um, but I like show business though in its own way, because I always felt that spirit of show business. I've always liked to sing, and I've had the opportunity of being in the recording studios, even with the Jackson 5 and with Michael. And they have some recordings with me singing, because I can sing, and everyone always knew that about me, that I like to sing and I can sing. And my mother was always present when I sung on the microphone. And it's beautiful. She was proud of that. Very surprised, but proud. And I joined dancing. I love to dance and stuff. I love music. Music is so universal. I love any kind of music that just want to make you move and everything. I really like music. All kind of music. There's all kind of different musics that set different moods and everything. And I grew up around music, entertainers. There are family members who sang. Even when Motown artists weren't on the road. I saw a lot of them when I was little. I used to spend the night over their house and stuff, and spend the night at Marvin Gaye's house, visit Uncle Paul from the Temptations, go over there. I was always, visiting different people all the time and stuff. They were like family. Grew up with some of the kids, hang out with Eddie Kendrick's daughter and kids. I hung out with James Brown, kids, because Mama is my mama's sister. So I had a great upbringing of a lot of the stars, kids, and stuff in Motown and everything. They were just like my cousins. That's how I looked at them. That's how they looked at me. But we hadn't seen each other in years. So some of them may remember me and some of them may not. Because it's been so long ago. And then, when the parents pass and stuff, it's not the same. Don't, really be around anyone or whatever. But my Aunt Patricia was the one who pretty much took me around everybody still and to visit everyone, at some point up until my teenage years. She was still like bringing people around me or having me go around them up until I was a teenager. Patricia. So, and that was it, The Native Americans, for the upcoming election in November, want people to vote yes for them because they, I saw the public service announcement, and they want people to vote for them because they're in the rural area. They own casinos. I think they said it was the Pachanga casinos or something like that. And they're supposedly been affected by the COVID-19 and other things with the pandemic that financially broke them. And when I saw the public announcement, I saw people who looked like Mexicans or Latinos or whatever. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm voting no. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to vote no. I'm going to vote no because I took my ancestry test. And I talked about this in some of my past podcasts. I'm voting no on that Native American vote for getting money to do what it is they need to do. I'm voting no. You can call me prejudiced, racist, whatever you want to call me if you want to. But I took my DNA ancestry test. And my ancestry has been around nearly almost 1 million years. And on the father's side, it's been around about 250,000 years, and the mother's side has been around about 200,000 years. They're both around the same time. And my lineage of my saliva goes all the way back to the Bantu tribe, which is the very first tribe out of Nigeria, Africa, the motherland. Is what I match with my saliva. And I would say this. I'm proud of that because it helped me to really find out who I am. And they always say, in order to solve some problems, you must start with yourself. You got to look inside yourself first. Michael used to say, it's the man in the mirror. And I had to look at the woman in the mirror, the child in the mirror. And I had to look on the inside, but I knew there were a lot of things that I was feeling about myself because I knew what I had around me growing up as a child, the kind of people that I had around me growing up as a child. And a lot of people had moved away, a lot of people had died. And so, or they just wasn't coming around me, or I wasn't around them because of what happened with my family and with my mom and everything. So, um, a lot of things were taken away from me like that. But I took my DNA ancestry test, and I found out, the breakdown of everything of who I am on the inside, and which basically was what I knew already. But I found out a little bit more, and it was just really brought me happiness for myself. Then I matched a cousin of mine who is a Patel. And a Patel is from Jarate, India. Very smart, shrewd business people, very intelligent. They have great reputation globally for being very astute business people in the hospitality industry. And that made me proud too to be a Patel, you know. My grandfather, Kanijiba Desai, started the industry of hospitality in America. And back then, they were telling them they need to go back where they come from and stuff like that, but they didn't do that. They just basically went on and lived their lives and just basically stayed quiet. And they started the hospitality industry. And that's how they got started basically. But I would say this. I'm not going to vote for it because, number one, like I said, the ancestry of being in existence of my lineage of nearly 1,000,000 years. And then you have other lineages of people who have only been around 10,000 years. But they get all this Native American money because a couple things took place with the Native American original, the ones who were dark skinned and had a mixture of Asian, India, mixture of African, which came from Kenya and Nigeria, Ghana, they all mixtures when they were, traveling through those times, whether they were, either it was through slavery or they were just travelers, however it may have been. How it all evolved, they were really dark people with dark hair, beautiful people as well, and that's what I grew up with. They were somewhere light brown or whatever, but I know that they were about business and they wanted to pass their businesses on to their kids and things like that, and that's what they did, But that's when I was coming up, so they still had that same type of value. But what had happened in the past is that two things took place. Was that one, they had the Latinos that came over from either Spain or somewhere, and this was like in the 1800s, and they killed off all the Native Americans because they had these viruses that were on them, these plagues that were on their bodies, and it was so bad they killed off the Native Americans. And then you also had the British. They came to America and killed off the Native Americans as well. So you had those two things going on. And then my great uncle, the 18th President of the United States of America, Ulysses Grant, he had the Latinos to be merged with the Caucasians. He gave the Indians to the Caucasians. And I don't know why he did that, but he did that. But whatever that is, whatever they did, that's starting off that branching off into, I guess, with the Native Americans, because they had died, the original ones that were dark and stuff. That's when they started turning white skin. You know, because they was killed off and stuff like that. You know, and that's how that started evolving to what it became now, where they just all look white. And then later on in the years, what happened was those people who took DNA ancestry tests as well as I did have their Native American saliva that says, oh, okay, we pulled this up out of you guys. You're Native American too, of this percentage or whatever it may be. And they denied that. They denied us of that. Oh, that wasn't good enough. Our DNA ancestry wasn't good enough. But someone who killed somebody for it, that was good enough to them to take over and to become that. So over the years, they got over, and the Native Americans did have it in their Native American law that they wanted us to not marry European for whatever reason. And whatever we had, they wanted to keep passing it on within our own. I guess you can say that could be prejudice or racist from them on the outside looking in. But it was theirs. And they wanted to keep it in their family. But then again, people started, I guess you say, marrying. And then they got in, and then they came up with adoption and all that other stuff. But it wasn't given, it was stolen. It was taken. So there's a big difference between someone just giving it to you and it being taken and people getting over. And there was a time when I was a child, well, I know for a fact that I remember we used to go to the Native American when they used to have bingo and stuff. We had like these events. We used to drive up there and go to the Native American events when I was a kid. And I remember when they had bingo and stuff like that. And as far as I know, I remember my grandmother was talking about it, about how they had this eraser thing, this dough eraser. So they erased the dough. The dough is Asian anyway. So we're Asian, Black Asian Indians and African. So dough, T-A-O, D-A-O, however they want to spell it, we're still Asian. They erased us. And then just the white people erased us and put themselves there instead, or start calling themselves us instead. And so that's how that happened. So a lot of things became fraud and forged, and then people just became us. Same thing, how people do things now with this emergency thing they got going on with the housing authority, because the housing authority is a Native American company. It's a Native American business. When you're dealing with Section 8 and things like that, that's a Native American business. And it's supposed to be housing the people of the homeless, but they were also prejudiced about that too, because they'll always have a 30-year waiting list, especially if you're Black. And then they want to start having it where you just got to go through certain type of agencies where they decide if you really qualified to be in a home or not. You got to qualify to be in a home. Not that you deserve to be in a home or supposed to have a home. You have to qualify to be in a home. So therefore, they act like it just wasn't a right to have a home. So they have 30-year waiting lists. They wouldn't even give people a HUD house. They deny us the monthly payments, which I know I used to get monthly payments when I was a kid, because I used to get $10,000 a month when I was a child. And for some reason, I don't know what happened with that, but I used to get $10,000 a month as a kid. Now in the recent years, they have been paying up to $300,000 to $500,000 a month in Native American money. And then they turned around and flipped it in society and wanted people just to get Social Security, like $900 a month, or you work 30 years. And then I guess in that 30 years of you working, of all them years you work, however much time that you want to put into a job, you make less than what you were making when you were working, because then they start paying you like, who knows, $1,500 a month, $4,000 a month or something. Who knows how they broke it down or whatever. But whatever it is, a lot of people say they can't even survive off of the Social Security or the retirement money because it's so low. And it doesn't pay their bills. It doesn't pay for them. It's just like Harriet Tubman said, you're still a slave. It's like they make you still a slave in slavery, and, financially. And another thing that they did was they took away gold. See, gold used to be our main currency. So they took the gold away because the gold was worth more than fiat currency, which is the paper money. So they took that away because they got tired of lifting all that gold up and having to pay out more money. So they started this currency with paper money so they can feel like they can control it better. But the gold is still there and maintained. And so that's just basically how that went. And then they started putting their own faces and everything on the money, because that's how it was in Africa, that we had our own money and everything. So they start throwing themselves on money too. Taking off the original Native Americans who was really on money, and then they took them off of that and replaced themselves with it. And we're talking about people who's really of this by blood, by descendant, by ancestry. And then people just come along and just take it all from people, And now they're like, oh, vote for us to, stay on top or whatever, and not to be in a rural land. Well, what about us? That was born that in the first place, that had it rightfully through bloodline, through descendant, through ancestry, and y'all just threw us to the side like we wasn't even important, like we didn't matter. But yet, people have the audacity to have racism in this country and prejudice in this country, want to rename people, want to kill people, have an attitude, because I know for a fact that one of the privileges of being a police officer on the force is because that was your right as a Native American to start your own police department with being a Native American. And that's why so many white people who wear uniform have such an attitude, because they got a badge on and a gun on, that they have a right to feel like they just want to continue to be cowboys and Indians and kill off black people like they was doing back then when they were Native Americans, like they came over like the Brits did and just got rid of folks. Just wanted to terminate folks like that, for no reason. But then at the same time, they have the audacity to travel their ass all the way over there to Africa, to different parts of Africa, and invade people's lands and tribes, bring their ass over there, and then bring us over here and treat us like we ain't shit, like we asked to come here. We didn't ask to come here in the first damn place. Didn't nobody ask you to travel to Africa and bring us over there, from over there to here? You went there on your own free will wanting to bring us over here. Why? Because you needed us, but you don't ever want to admit that you needed us in the first damn place. But then you all want to have an attitude and act like you don't like black folks and Africans who you needed to build up this country because you didn't have the capabilities of doing it on your own. And then you have the audacity in these years today still want to kill us off and take and act like you us. Then you want to sit there and give us these fake ass names, these fake ass records, fake ass birth certificates, fake ass social security numbers like we needed it. Because we didn't need none of that where we come from. And it doesn't matter that you still have brought Kunta Kinte over here to America, because Kunta Kinte is still a Bantu tribal ancestry. He's always going to be an Igbo, regardless. It's always going to still be Kenyans and Ashantes. And we still here, and we still been here almost 1,000,000 years. But yet we still made y'all in the first place because you got all these pictures running around here with these black people who y'all ain't raped, beat up, mistreated, with these African women who became your slave, who had to breastfeed your baby. And then your mama, who spit your ass out, didn't even want to give you her own goddamn nipple. But yet, you want to be a racist and be prejudiced against Africans from all these African countries that came here, that was brought here by force to build this land up for you with your lazy ass, who didn't want to do it, just sit on your ass and dictate to people on what they need to do, and then gonna call everybody else like they less than you are and they're immigrants, but you're not even from here your damn self. But yet you needed everybody else and wanted to ride on everybody else's back when all you had to say was that, you know, we really like what you guys got going on over there in Africa, and we wanted to be like you guys over there in Africa. But no, you didn't want to do that. You wanted to steal from everybody else, take from everybody else, and then you want to be somebody's bro later. Somebody's sis later. That's really fake to me. You don't want to be a sister or a brother. You want to just be a bro. Or a sis. Well, we got too many of that running around, don't you think? I ain't going to spell the rest of that out, because that'll be racist. People get too timid. Anyway, then on top of that, then you want to create a God that you want everybody else to worship, when in the beginning, it was Amon-Ra. But then again, when you look at America, and you look at the word America, you get the name Amon-Ra in there with the letters. It's just disrespectful on how people continue to treat people in the media in police uniforms and want to keep killing off people. Hell no, I ain't voting for no damn Native American. I'm taking your damn power. We need to take your power, because if we take the Native American power, your ass ain't gonna be able to wear that damn badge and kill people like y'all been doing. because that's how you got that. And we definitely need to take that shit away. I'm a bow and arrow. Y'all need to have them bow and arrows again. What y'all think? Shit. You know, people kind-hearted, try to treat people kindness. And let me tell you something about people who have interracial marriages. Don't get all timid and acting like, oh my God, ooh, okay, good for you. You found love. But the world is much bigger than that, because you still have a whole lot of other people who still holding it down in their tribes. Because y'all get to be tripping out. And the one thing that y'all don't do is speak out when y'all have a George Floyd type of situation and murder going on. Y'all act like, oh, you know, like, okay, well, I'm married to a white person. I don't need to say anything. You know, I need to keep quiet or something. Hell no. You know, that shit ain't fucking fair. That child lost his mother, and I know what it's like to lose a father. I mean, not his mother, but his father. Her father. You know, don't tell me that this man going to jail for 10 damn years is good enough. It's not good enough. But R. Kelly gets to go to jail for 30 years and they want everybody to jump on the bandwagon. Don't y'all know when y'all being used by people? And let me tell you something about this goddamn housing authority thing they got going on out here with this. That ain't nothing but a damn scam. And I'm sick of that too. Sitting up here taking all these people information that y'all created. Names that their mothers and fathers gave them. Taking all these people names that they was given. They want your social security number, ID. Got people walking up to people on the streets talking about they homeless advocates and stuff like that, and taking people's social security numbers and IDs and want your birth certificate and all this other stuff, and supposedly be placing you in housing when you're homeless or just in need, or you lost your house, or you might be losing your home, and then all of a sudden you have a system that you can't talk to people. Your business is not open. You only do processing over the telephone. You don't know who the hell you're talking to on the telephone. Who the hell are these people to walk up to people and want somebody's damn social security number, birth certificate, and ID? And then they have it out here saying, oh, okay, well, we want the homeless to be put in hotels and for the pandemic of the COVID-19. And we would like for the hotel owners, which you know damn well is predominantly owned by Indians industry. Not Native American, but Indian on the street of the hotel, hospitality industry. You know they own it. So 90% of that. So here y'all come with, oh, we want to put people in the hotels, the homeless in the hotels, and give the homeless a place to live. And oh, the housing authority is going to buy their hotels from them and place the homeless there, and we're going to upgrade their hotels and give them $300,000 a month per door. Bullshit. Y'all been in my family hotel for 2 goddamn years at the Cadillac and ain't paid a goddamn dime. You ain't paid a dime, ain't put a battery in the smoke detector, ain't did a damn thing. And all my family members ain't even fall for it because they was like, oh, hell no. We did not want to be on that list, and no, we did not participate. I mean, really, if y'all really just wanted to be in the hotel industry, why didn't y'all just go into the franchise business and become a hotel industry as an investor? Why did you have to come to us? Because these hotel owners didn't even need you guys like that. They never came to HUD and the Housing Authority for any money and for any kind of financial assistance. And besides, the homeless problem is not our problem in the first place, for the fact that it's your fault that you're the ones who have a 30-year waiting list. You're the ones who created the 30-year waiting list for people to be homeless outside on the streets. It's your fault that you allow that. And not only did you allow that, but you guys sat there and allow other people to have investments and then build all these apartments up and then have high rent in these apartments, and you still don't put the homeless in those apartments. And then you want to come along and say, oh, we want to buy up your hotels and put the homeless in your hotels. No, y'all don't want to put the homeless in your hotels. Y'all just want to get your ass up out of what y'all going through in the rural area and circulate the money back to y'all so y'all can make the money and put it in y'all damn pockets. Because that's exactly what you're doing. Because you know how you're doing it? Because you're going to go around here, use black people in these type of industries and these type of businesses who are small businesses, who want to start their own businesses, who have second chance offender businesses, and then people have a second chance in becoming something better. A lot of them are predominantly black. And then you sit up there and you get up there in the housing authority, and then you want to use these people in their companies, have them go out here collecting all this data on people, bring it back to you, and you want to have a business that you sit at home, have them scanning all this shit to you on your computer, on your desktop, so you can use it and call yourself these people that's outside on the damn streets collecting their money on their pandemic money. They don't ever get their check for $20,000, and you want to pocket it and put it in your damn bank account and say that you're them. And then these people are still outside on the streets. But no, you don't want to give them the location money that you're supposed to be giving them, the $7,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 based on the size of their household or what they're making. Instead, you want to say it's you. Just like y'all been doing in the past, over and over and over again. And people have not even caught on to what y'all game was. But I did. Because you've done it so many damn times over the years that you're still doing it. And then on top of that, you have the audacity to be working at the top of the housing authority. And then you put out there in the media, oh, the director of the housing authority decided to quit and resign. After you took all the goddamn money, you quit and resigned. But who you have left standing there? Black-owned small businesses that you have had and used to go up to homeless people and take all their data off of them and want to take their social security number, their last 4 digits of their social security number, and their ID information and so on and so forth, and give it to the motherfuckers at the top that are councilmen and councilwomen and the directors of the housing authority, and then you all retire at the same time. And then who's left standing? All those black-owned businesses or people who used to be in the prison system and have second chance opportunities to have a job. And who the hell y'all gonna blame that shit on? Them. And you know why you're gonna blame it on them? Because you have the police department to sponsor them and their business and put their stamp on their businesses, so they'll have the information on who it is that they're dealing with, because they're corrupted too and getting paid on the side as they motherfucking side hustle. As if we don't know that already. Y'all shouldn't did that damn shit so damn much that, what did they say Donald Trump is? The mob. Anyway, I just had to put that shit out there. Because there's so many people that just don't realize, damn, that's not, wow, okay. Because people realize they're not doing anything and giving them nothing. That shit is fucked up. You walk away with a person who's homeless on the streets with their $20,000 that they're entitled to, even if they work for it. You want to pocket it and keep it anyway, and then have the audacity to tell them that you want to pick them up off the streets and then go put them in a shelter and make more money off of them, like they're your dependent child. And then you want to come up with the mental health, illness area of work and act like they not capable of taking care of themselves and they not smart enough to do for themselves, tie their shoes, put their clothes on, and so on and so forth. You gonna act like everybody damn crazy. Your ass is damn crazy if you think I'm gonna vote for your ass. And the answer to that is no. And how about nope on that note? So, If we, who have been here for almost 1,000,000 years, with proven ancestry of our saliva, are not going to be entitled to having our 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, and $500,000 a month ancestry, Native American money, because my people did work for it. And we do deserve it. And we did. And they did clean the White House. And Ulysses did say that the justice system was created for us to be protected. But yet y'all don't want to protect us. You still want to keep killing us. Until you guys cooperate. Hell no, I'm not voting for your ass to get no damn more money or fund the goddamn police department through the Native American tribes. No. And the answer is nope. I'm not gonna vote for that. No. Time to bring y'all damn asses down. Shit. Because you don't seem to understand the assignment. Anyway, I feel like I had enough to say about that topic. Because you guys don't deserve it. Now, I'm not saying that all police officers are bad police officers, but the majority of you are. Because you already know where that comes from. Anyway, these true clans who are proven of their ancestry of who they really are without being forced to be that have a right, regardless if these people decide to be athletes, models, singers, entertainers, or whatever it is. It's our right to still have our $400,000 per month that we are entitled to, regardless if they're in prison or whatever it is. The $400,000 per month that we're supposed to be getting, or $500,000 per month that we're supposed to be getting, is our right to have it by ancestry in our DNA, because we were here first and we deserve it, not you. Because our people did work for it, because we were forced to be here. Our families and ancestry were forced to be here in this land to help you build this land up. So if we can't have it, you guys don't need to have it either. That's just the way I feel about it. And it's not just about getting married and having marriage and getting it through marriage. Because even a lot of you who have got married to people, you still haven't even given it to someone that is African American. A lot of you still haven't done that. Hell, they treat y'all better over there in Dubai than they do over here in America. Y'all get more rich over there in Dubai than they do anything. It's ridiculous. But anyway, regardless of a person, and I'm speaking particularly on the African American culture, they are still entitled to have their $400,000 or $500,000 per month of what they're supposed to be getting from the Native American tribes. And then you guys had the audacity when they wanted to approve or apply for their own tribes. You guys wouldn't even approve their tribes and still said it wasn't good enough. Because you're all based it on the color of their skin. And you want everybody to think that Native Americans are pale skinned with black hair. And that's just not fucking true. Because history can show you that. Even if you went online right now and Google, you can see that they're dark. So you can have an attitude, because I know I'm going to have an audience out there that has an attitude and think that I'm just an attitude or crazy, whatever the hell it is. I don't give a damn. These people who have an ancestry just like I do, their own spit, they still have a right to have their $400,000 a month because of who they are and where they came from. They have that right, just like you all feel like you have a right to have that because y'all were takers. Well, they still have a right to be that. Regardless if they get a job, they still have a right to have that $400,000 a month and still have a job if they want to. Because in other cultures, in other countries, just like, for example, Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh, who created a system which was the microloan. What he did was he created the microloan because he wanted to take the poor women, the poor mothers, and create small business loans for them, give them small business loans. He was the man who created who wrote the book and the system of microloans and wrote the book called the Banking of Poverty. Banking for the Poverty is what it was called. And he created a system so the mothers, the single mothers, or just the mothers themselves in Bangladesh could start small businesses. And they started small businesses because he gave them $500 to get their business up and running. And then when they got their business up and running, if the business failed, they didn't have to pay the loan back. They only had to pay the loan back if the business was successful. And if the business was successful, then the woman whose business was successful would teach the next woman how to become a business owner. And then it goes on and on and on and on and on. And they teach each woman, like they say, teach one, someone, give one, teach one, something like that. And they would teach each other and create a chain of command of women teaching each other business trading and helping them to stand on their feet to be successful. And it became wealthy, and they became wealthy. And those women right now are wealthy over there. That's what that system was supposed to be over here in America. The system was never supposed to be about slavery. The system was never supposed to be that. Even when the Indians wanted to come over, the Indians from India came over to America, and the Asians came over to America, and the Africans were in America. Even when they wanted to form something, even if they were in slavery, post-slavery, or prior slavery, however it may have been, even if they were travelers during the different periods of times, their whole goal was to be in business together and to make something together as this unity of these third world countries. We were out to become wealthy together and uplift each other in the community. It was never set up to be in slavery. That's not how it was set up. So it was set up for us to be that because they were all Republican countries in the first place as well. And they wanted to be empowering and successful and to work with each other. But during the years, they wanted to break all that, dealing with this white supremacy thing. And then the white supremacy wanted to put the white color in the middle instead of having like maybe black or yellow and so on and so forth that represent China and Africa and India and so on and so forth, so they wanted to break that. So we end up being in a situation where we have segregated neighborhoods and so on and so forth. And it shouldn't be that way because that's not what the intent was. The intent was for us to be together, to be able to work together. And had slavery never been that way and they wanted it the way, if we had things the way that they wanted it in the first place, America would be on top. America would be just like how Africa is right now. Everybody happy, everybody on top. People are creating and making cars from scrap metal and things like that. But no, you still have white people going over there to Africa, stealing the little black boys' ideas from YouTube, and then coming back over here to America talking about, we made this car, we created this car. We created this concept of this car. When you know goddamn well this boy is all over YouTube and you want to bring your white ass over here and say that you created a goddamn car when the whole goddamn world can see what this boy just made this damn car from scrap metal, but you want to bring your ass over here and act like you did it your damn self. Same goddamn shit I'm talking about. But you want to go over there and leave his ass over there broke, act like he ain't never did it because he just ain't nobody to you. That's the type of shit I'm damn talking about. That's the type of shit I'm sick of. Because I would take every goddamn dime I got and I would just give this child anything he got and just give him whatever he needs to build cars and leave it the fuck over there. Because I want the manufacturers to stay over there in Africa because they deserve that. Not that he's not good enough to be an American or anything like that. Because it's just the fact that copyrights are all over the world anyway. It's just the fact that his patent belongs there because he lives there. His family is there. His people is there. He don't have to be adopted and come to America and be adopted by one white person and then take him from his whole damn family and come over here and be some other shit. You don't have to be all that. That shit is crazy. I don't even know why y'all do that anyway. It's weird. But anyway, I'm just saying. I'm just so for things to be the way that it was supposed to be in the beginning, because I know for a fact I don't believe any of it that they were supposed to be slaves, because I know that's not true. Because when my mother Florence Bella was going through something, I know that Kaniji Ba came over from Kenya and gave us well, gave me, gifted to me, I know for a fact, some things because I know what it was, but gave some things up so we can do better, and that's the type of people that they were. And to be dealing with people that don't want people to have nothing and want people to be on the bottom. They want to climb over you. They just want to get in the bed with you and take what's yours and this and that and be gone. People want to get married to people and they just want to marry you, act like they love you, and then they get in the marriage. They just want to get a couple babies and get out the marriage and take what's yours because they don't want to work for it. Don't have to work for it because it's all about how they look, the way their attitude is and the way they talk to them and so on and so forth. And they just go on and get married, take what's yours and just keep it moving. Don't have to work for it or anything else. And a lot of people don't have that support system. Not even in a damn marriage, but some people do. But anyway, so I just want to say one thing, that I am very proud of Detroit's own Byron Allen, who has bought Black News Channel. Because Byron a few years ago was trying to do business with Comcast and they did not want to help him. They didn't want him to do business. They wouldn't approve anything that he did. They didn't think his shows were good enough. But now Byron is where he wants to be. And I'm from Detroit. He's from Detroit. And I had some things to say about that when it first came out, because I was kind of like, well, Byron, because I started off in Detroit, Michigan, in the media industry myself through Don Barden, who started Barden Cable. And I went through Barden Cable to gain all my experience in production, and through Barden Cable, who was a black-owned cable company. And Don Barden, as you know, is an African-American man who started Barden Cable in Detroit, Michigan. And we had public access in Detroit, Michigan. And public access became a big deal through the cable company. And then after a while, we had that, go on for like maybe 10, 20 years. And then after that, Comcast Cable came along and they dissolved all of that. So people couldn't have their own TV shows and things like that. So they started dissolving that out. And then later on in the years, in the 80s, Oprah came around, and then Oprah ended up having her own TV show after that. But those are the things that we have rights to. Those are the things that we were supposed to have rights to, because as a Native American, you have a right to have your own radio station. You have a right to have your own cable company. You have a right to own your own police department. You have a right to own your own health care company. You have a right to own your own insurance company. And these are all the things that we as Native Americans who are of that darker skin that you guys did not want to acknowledge and give rights to, and give rights to the tribes too, tribal cards or tribal benefits. But at the same time, I would say this, is that actually it's actually a really a blessing in disguise in its own way, for the fact that um, on the level that you are end up creating with the Native American, you really end up creating a level of poverty on the low end, on the low scale, because you have affordable housing for the poor, for the poverty. You don't have housing where those who can afford, so their money can buy and have anything to purchase anything that they want. Because had it been in the beginning in the beginning, as it was supposed to be set up for us in the beginning, and I know it was set up that way because I'm the one who went to some of these tribal things, events when I was a kid. I know it was set up that way because, like I said before, I was getting $10,000 a month as a child in the 70s. I know that for a fact. My mama was still alive, Florence Balance was still alive, my grandmother was still alive. I was getting $10,000 a month. I know that for a fact. I know that. But things happen. But however, those who were not getting it should have been getting it, even from the 70s, should be getting it today at $500,000. Now, my money didn't continue with me personally, only because my mother passed, my grandmother passed, and people started getting into my business and whatever they had in my trust or whatever, and they did what they did. But it was still all based on some other things, as well. But me personally, that's what I had. I know for a fact. Um, so so those people who are entitled to it, and see, I'm not a selfish type of person, because if I got it and I was entitled to it, I would want other people who is entitled to it to have it too. That's the type of person I am. I'm not selfish like that. I'm not that type of person to say, okay, well, I got mine, fuck everybody else, I'm here. No, I'm not like that. I want everyone to have what I had back then, because it accumulated as the bingo tribes became casinos. Because when I started getting it, it was bingo back then. When you play the bingo cards and stuff, it was bingo back then. And then the bingo became casinos with the slot machines. So that gradually happened and came along from the 70s, even then, when I was a kid, when they started it out and stuff, because Empire is about my family too. And as you can see, they did have casinos. He did start the casino, Lucius did, with Cookie. And that's what happened, but that's what I'm saying. I would want people who were entitled to it just like I was. I would want you to be wealthy too. I want you to be wealthy too. I want you to be like Muhammad Yunus want everyone else in Bangladesh and in Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Igbos, in the Bantus, in the Kenyans, in the Ashantis, and just like Akon is building up Akon City. I want you guys to own your own city too, because we should. Whether we're here in America, whether we're in Africa. Because my grandfather's Matthew Henson, not who created, but who discovered the North Pole. So by bloodline and DNA descendant, I want that for my people who are descendants of Africa and descendants of ancestry, because we traveled. We traveled a long way by foot and everything, And of course, they were forced on boats, or however they're supposed to be. But I want my people to be that. I want my people to stand up. I want my people to be prosperous, because it was given to them, because they are Geniuses. And anytime you have a genius who can design a car from scrap metal, that things that we throw in the garbage can, and they take it up out the garbage and build a damn car with it and drive it down the street. Yeah, fuck that. I'm going to give my damn all for you. Hell no, I'm not voting for you. Because you want to just climb over people. You want to use people. You want to take from people. You want to take people's identity and call it your own. And then you have the audacity that want to come along and come into my patel industry, hospitality, family, ancestry, bloodline, business, and claim that you want to buy our hotels up, put homeless people in it, when you got an agency that you're supposed to be placing people in apartment buildings, condominiums, mobile homes, so on and so forth, but you try to turn around and make it our problem when it's really your problem at the housing authority. But then you want to turn around and take that same $300,000 a month that these original Native Americans who are African American descendant and Indians and Asians from Asia are supposed to be getting just because of who they are, by their spirit, because we belong there. That's just the way it is. That's the way God made it. Because the light can't shine without darkness, baby. Okay? So, anyway, you have the audacity to want to come into people's businesses that they ain't work for. My grandfather started his first hotel in 1943 and been here almost 100 years. And then you have the audacity to want to come into a person's business and establishment. And then you want to sit there and act like you don't want to pay a dime. That's racism on its own. After they ain't work for it, build it up. And then you want people to live up in there for free. After they work their ass off to build their business up and pass it on to their own generations and the next generations, and you want to just come up in there and get it for nothing, and then you going to act like and promote in the media and saying you buying it up and you going to pay $300,000 per door per month when you ain't gave nothing. Do you want me to take some goddamn pictures of how shit looking that you have not prepared and rehabilitated anything at the Cadillac Hotel and other hotels that you have not done? Because your ass ain't even put one damn battery, not even a damn smoke detector. And I'm letting that shit be known. Hell no. Because my people work for theirs. They have never gone to the housing authority for financial assistance. You came to us, business owners, entrepreneurs, the same people who came here with a dream, with drive and driven, astute intelligence to build a business from the bottom up without your support and help that you never even wanted to give people a loan any damn way. The answer is no. No vote on my part. And if you want to stop me from talking on Spotify or any damn thing else, then go ahead. By the way, I have an FCC license that's a lifetime license that never expires. This is Variety CHENEVERT for AKASHI Media Podcast Live, giving you a commentary on a variety of topics. Thank you for listening. Till next time.